And aloha, everyone. Let's turn this music down. Yeah. So excited. Aloha, everyone. Welcome back to Legacy Leaders NFT Legacy Talks. Super excited. This is our second, I'm calling these episodes.
Sure, we'll call it an episode,
let's call
right?
these episodes.
2 days in a row. Let's take back the episode narrative here. So yes, day 2, episode 2. We are here. We are live. We're talking to you.
We are talking. And hi, everyone. I am Pili, and this is...
I'm Jason Urisi, and this is now talking about NFTs and the tie into real estate and really the basis or backbone of the Legacy Leaders Project. Really what really started as a thought and idea and has carried through to a lot of action in the last few weeks. And to say that lightly, we have a lot of team, a lot of awesome people that we are so thankful for just putting in the work right now to bring you an incredible project and to really put together something we're all proud of, and we know you will be proud of as well.
Well, we are super proud and super excited to just announce what we're doing. If you were here yesterday, we talked about where we started, sort of the genesis of what we do as real estate investors, and jumping into NFT land and creating Legacy Leaders, or what is Legacy Leaders about. So please, we actually dropped that in Twitter. So if you missed it, you can actually watch the video there. So today, like Jason said, we're going to talk about how real estate investing is like NFT investing and vice versa. So first of all, let's talk about how we came up with the idea of Legacy Leaders. So I was having these conversations in Clubhouse actually about NFTs because we had just jumped in. So as soon as we came in with Gary Vee, we jumped in and started having these conversations. And I started bringing it to my real estate community and asking them what they were doing on a regular basis to connect this. And half the time, most of them did not know what I was doing or what we were talking about. But the other half of the time, some people would jump in and they'd be like, well, we just took down a building, a development in England using an NFT, using a smart contract. Or, you know what, we just heard about somebody that just sold an apartment building, and I actually believe that was in the Ukraine, using smart contracts, using an NFT. Oh, and guess what? In Florida, we actually had a conversation with her. In Florida, somebody just sold a house using an NFT. So all these things were happening. And this was actually before all that was happening. This was started in October, November. Finally, some point in November, I was like, Jason, we're going to do this. We're going to connect it. We're going to make these connections. We're going to make this work, because I was not only seeing the connection between the NFT space and the community that we're building within this space, but the communities that we've built in real estate, and like connecting them to and teaching those that are in real estate all about NFTs in a smart, concise way. And then also teaching everyone that's in NFT world how to invest in real estate. So if you've ever flipped an NFT, or if you've ever flipped a house, you already see the connections. So let's talk about that, Jason. Let's talk about why NFT world, why flippers, why NFT investors, because let's call it what it is. We're all investors in this space. If you're a collector, you are also an investor. You're investing in people, you're investing in projects, you're investing in businesses. So what are those connections?
You know, you can look at it from a lot of different ways, right? So, and you can basically just tie it into a lot of different ways that we do real estate, right? In real estate, there's flipping, there's wholesaling, there's long-term rentals, there's apartment investing, there's note investing, right? And so now in this space with NFTs, you typically have 3 different options right now. Basically, you get in there, you buy it, and you try and turn it quick, right? Try and get a quick profit. Second part, you buy it and have a short-term hold, right? Third part is you're buying it for the long run, right? And so you're really brought in, you want to hold this project. It's typical to real estate too. In a lot of ways in real estate, you're either going to do some kind of short-term transaction, right? Whether it be a wholesale, which is basically that you're flipping a contract on the property, or a flip itself, or actually doing some kind of renovations to improve the value and selling it, or you're doing a hold that you're looking to get some cash flow back from the property. Potentially, if you tie it to NFTs, would be utility coming back from the NFT, just to eventually potentially sell in the future, but you're looking to get more rewards that tie into it. That ties back to a lot to what Pili and I do.
So let's actually talk about that. Let's talk about, because I want to get into the whole real estate syndication, what we actually do now. But let's dive into what Jason just said. So wholesaling, you're basically taking the contract and you're flipping it. It's like the fastest flip. It's usually you're sitting at the lawyer's table and you get one contract, you sign that contract, and basically you're selling the contract to the end buyer.
So you're basically not really even owning the real estate. You're basically just assigning the contract or passing along the contract. So in the context, the NFT world, you are taking possession or having ownership for at least a short portion of the time. And in that time, then you will pass along the ownership in some capacity.
So that's basically your quick flip. That's basically your person who comes in, they buy a project and they sell it almost immediately for that quick uptake of profit. So, and then you have your actual quick flip, which a lot of flippers like to call it kind of like lipstick on a pig. And I was like thinking about this. I was like, how can you provide value? Because flippers, they'll add value to a home. They'll add value, the same thing that we do as value add investors, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you're taking one home, you're adding value to it. You're redoing the kitchen, you're putting in new carpet, you're painting the house, you're giving it a nice uplift, but not too much of a heavy lift. See, the thing is, but in the NFT space, we do provide value through hype, through loving on the community, through bringing our like thoughts and our actions and ourselves into the community. You're actually adding value to it. The people who run the community add value to it, but it's the community members that add value to it in mass. So it's exactly like flipping in real estate terms, because you can add value by providing your positivity, your uplift, and I see this in communities across NFT world. Like I go in there and you have these amazing hype people, and I mean hype in a good way. Like these are people who believe in the project, go in there every day promoting the project, retweeting, all those things. So you can provide value to a project just like you provide value to a house.
You know, when you put it like that, I was thinking about really just like forced appreciation, right? Forced appreciation is you're forcing the value forward, and in a certain way, there's not the force of value appreciation here, but the efforts by other are driving the value, right? When we're seeing these communities come together and believe in the process, believe in the project, believe in the founders, believe in what's being built here, right? And what that does is improves the value. And so when you're looking at investments, one of the biggest things you can do is that you have to understand, one, your investment philosophy, right? Because you want to make sure that it's tying into the project, tying into really the properties you're going after, or just really your goals, right? So if you are looking for some short-term profits, potentially that there's going to be certain NFTs that might not be right for you, right? Whether it be that you're getting in at a costly measure and you're putting a lot of your capital out, and where the liquidity is not always on the other side of the NFTs, right? And that's a narrative of itself, is that we see a lot of uptrends and downtrends in crypto space. But the one thing that shelters really NFT world is that it's not an easy jump in and jump out. And with real estate, the same thing, right? I mean, houses can move in value, can move in face value, and things can happen, but it's not something of an overnight transaction, especially in the apartment world, right? And that's why the buy potentially on real estate and NFTs is one of your most important elements, because if you buy poorly, the difficulty of you, one, having a solid investment for the future, but two, recouping your risk, or we'll say your downside, is very difficult, right? Because you have a lot of ground to make up because of your poor purchase criteria out of the gate.
So let's think about this though. Why is long-term investing more, and I'm talking NFT space, long-term NFT, your HODL. I love these new words, HODL. They're not even that new anymore. Okay, I'm going to go on a tangent. It's late here, so my brain will go tangenting all over the place. So you got to keep me in check. So why is, or how is a long-term HODL like what we do, like real estate syndications? You know what it is? It's because we run the numbers. And you do this in single family as well, but it's all based on the numbers, and it's based on the, like Jason said, the forced appreciation. How can we add value, like massive value, to one asset over a long hold? And I'm talking either, like, some of our holds are relatively short, and by short, I mean 3 years, 5 years, some are 7 years. But there are some holds that we will hold for 20, 30, for a very, very, very long time. So those are the holds that we talk about HODL, that we will hold on to it, and we will take that appreciation. We will take the profit from those projects on the long-term basis. So that's the connection between long-term real estate, your long-term buy and hold, and your HODL NFTs.
Well, let's even delineate this a little bit more, right? So think about in terms of syndication. Syndication in its own regards, if you're not familiar with the term, is that it's the pooling of resources so you can buy larger assets, so you can all benefit from the economies of scale. We use it for real estate. However, you could use this to buy a Dunkin' Donuts franchise. You could use this to buy a warehouse. You could use this to buy, I don't know, a mini golf place. You could use this. They syndicate real radio stations, right? So you could use this in so many different capacities. However, with the syndication, it's the pooling of resources, so you can benefit from the bigger project, right? And so when you think of NFTs, it's similar in a point, is that if you believe in the utility of the project, ultimately you're pulling your resource with others, and you are getting the benefactor of getting the NFT. However, the resources that you're pulling into this is supporting and helping the ability of the project, and specifically helping build or helping the utility flourish, right? So when you look at that with syndication, is that typically us alongside our investors, we're putting in capital to buy these buildings, and that's going to fund the down payment. Of course, the now narrative of the construction is going to happen, the reserves that are needed, and any of the fees that go with it. Well, similar for NFTs is there's not typically leverage at this time. So it's typically mainly all cash, but in that stance, or all crypto, but in that stance, it's providing the bandwidth for these projects to flourish, right? And hopefully with that, there's some kind of built-in interior, I guess, return. So not to get into anything of SEC narrative, but there will be some reward that's baked in from your efforts of what you're putting in there, from being the buyer, right? From being at that point, because you're looking at this as that this sounds like a great project. I'd love to be involved. And a reward could be the community, right? It can be just the connections. It can be a lot of different things.
I mean, and the NFT world, it's like the value comes from the community. So as a community member, you can uplift and you can be that value add to any sort of community, like we are the value add to the buildings that we take down. So that's what we wanted to talk to you about today. We wanted to talk to you about the connections between NFTs and what Jason and I do on a regular basis, what we've been doing for the last decade. If you have any questions, and if you're watching on Twitter, please drop these below. If you're here on Discord with us, we're going to jump off now. We're going to jump off the stream. So much aloha to you. And we're going to go answer questions on Discord. So if you're watching and you haven't jumped into Discord, please do. And if not, so much aloha. Don't forget to follow us, go into Discord, ask us questions there. You are amazing. So much aloha.
All right. Night.